Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Bracha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Proverbs, the 20th chapter. Wine is a mocker, and strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. Now let's go into that word mocker, because that's what it does, right? Getting too drunk can make a mockery out of you based on how it causes you to conduct yourself. It says to scorn, to make mouths at, to talk arrogantly, to boast. You see, to show oneself a mocker, and that's what the influence of wine can do to you, right? If you're not careful. Likewise, strong drink is raging. Let's look at that word raging. To murmur, growl, cry aloud, rage, make noise, be disquieted, to be boisterous, to be turbulent. Once again, this is what happens if you're not careful under the influence of wine and strong drink. And whosoever is deceived thereby, right? Whosoever is if you allow yourself, to be undertaken by wine or strong drink, you're not wise. You have to know your limits, right? You got to know yourself. You got to know how it affects you. And so move accordingly. Because if you transgress under that influence, you can't blame the wine. You should have known. The fear of a king is as the roaring of a lion. Whoso provoketh him to anger sinneth against his own soul. Why? What happens if you go into a lion's den and you go and piss it off? Are you sinning against the lion? Are you harming the lion itself? Are you harming the audience? No. You're transgressing against your own soul, because that lion is going to tear you up. You're not going to tear the lion up. He's going to swipe the ligaments off your ass with one paw. And that's how it's like if you go and provoke the king to anger, because all it takes is one word. Look at going back to the book of Esther. There was a decree, right? The law was, if you came into the court of the king uninvited and he didn't lift up the scepter, they were going to put you to death. So that scepter was your life. Just like that, your life is gone. So you got to be real careful out here going to offend the king. Yeah, that's like going to press off a lion. It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling. It says here, avoiding a fight or strife is a mark of honor. And it says only fools insist on quarreling. You see that today. You see that a lot. They consider you to be a coward if you try to avoid fighting. Even though if you assess a situation, you can see if somebody's a natural fighter and they could easily damage the other person, but yet they choose to retreat versus one that is so hell-bent on nah, I'm trying to throw hands. And the fools don't realize that it's actually more honorable to avoid that situation if you can. Fools would rather, as it says, they'll insist on quarreling, not foreseeing the evil. Now you go and do this, down the third, now you stabbed up. Now what? Oh, I didn't see that coming. Yeah, because you didn't look into it. You didn't consider it. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. Yeah, he's going to make excuses. Oh, it's too cold out there, so I can't go out there and, plow. Well, what's going to happen? Therefore, shall he beg and harvest and have nothing. If you don't plow and you miss your opportunity, when the harvest season comes, what are you going to reap? Now look at you begging to try and pick up, remains in somebody else's field. And that's because of your own lazy, your own laziness. Verse 5, counsel, and this, these sayings, though they're using examples of life in the ancient world, they're very easily applicable to now. If you don't work, you're going to be at the mercy of others. So don't let laziness be the reason for your scarcity. Counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. So, think about it, right? Having counsel, right? When you counsel, you're thinking, right? You're thinking deep, you're reasoning, trying to, whatever it is you're trying to come to a solution for. It's like searching in deep water. But a man of understanding will be able to draw out, whatever that solution is, like fetching, something from a deep water. That's how the mind can be sometimes. Most men will proclaim everyone his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find? It says many will say they are loyal friends, right? They'll speak well of themselves, but who can find one who is truly reliable? I mean, nobody's going to sell themselves short. Everybody's going to make themselves sound good. But just because you sound good doesn't actually mean you are. The just man walketh in his integrity, his children are blessed after him. Why? Because he's going to be made sure by the Lord, and he's going to be able, and the Lord is going to make his household sure, right? So his blessings will pass on to his house, hence his children will be blessed. A king that sitteth on in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes. Reading that in the NLT, it says, when a king sits in judgment, he weighs all the evidence, distinguishing the bad from the good. That's the scattering away of all evil with his eyes, the prudence, the looking into the situation or the matter. Who can say, I have made my heart clean? I am pure from my sin. And that's like a rhetorical question, right? Who can say, I have cleansed my heart? I am pure and free from sin. None of us, because we have all come short and we have all fallen short of the glory, because we have all sinned. Diverse weights and diverse measures, both of them alike are abomination to the Lord, because diverse weights and measures are used to defraud one another. It's like if you went to the meat market and they used a rigged scale, and something that weighs 1 pound the scale is going to show it to be 2 pounds. That's an abomination to the Lord, because they're being dishonest. Verse 11, even a child is known by his doings, whether his work be pure or whether it be right. Yeah. So how much more for an adult? You can say one thing, but your actions are going to tell. Like if a child is obedient, you can see that based on his actions. If he's disobedient, it doesn't matter what he says. You can see that based on his actions. Okay, so even a child, you can tell what manner they are by their doings. Likewise for an adult. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord hath made even both of them. Love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. It doesn't mean it's not like, I like to sleep, but that's wicked or that's wrong. Automatically, because you love to sleep, you're going to become poor. No. What it means is don't love it too much, to where now you love sleep more than you are willing to get up and work. You put aside working because you love sleep so much. That's the problem. Because eventually, before you know it, poverty will creep up on you. See, in the ancient world, work is more different than now. Now you can work at a job and you have a set fixed pay. In the ancient world, your recompense, your pay was based on your actual work, what you did. If you were somebody that sold certain goods at a market, say you sold grain, you needed to labor to as a husbandman. You need to first clear the field. You need to plow with the oxen. If you don't have oxen, you need to find a means to borrow oxen, plow with the ox, plant the seeds. You need to buy the seeds if you don't have any. Plant the seeds, water it, nurture it, and then whatever else you need to do. And then when the harvest comes, you need to actually reap and harvest and then thresh. That's a lot of work. And that way, you would have enough for you. This is just one example. You would have enough for you, right? Food and grain that you can use, and then you could sell the rest. If you didn't put that labor in, what are you going to sell? And when people buy, that's how you make your money. There's not a fixed amount that's coming into your pocket every day. You're not going to sit there and somebody just randomly put money into your pockets. Not for the working man. So you had to work That's why it was called your daily bread. You got to work for it. So if you love sleep more than you work, eventually you're going to come to poverty. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. Wake up and get to work so that you can make money and be sufficient. Verse 14, it is not, saith the buyer, but when he is gone away, then he boasteth. This is saying, like, you would have somebody trying to bargain, and they'll say, no, 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 that's not right. That's not right. That's too much. That's too expensive. But then, you sell it to them at a certain price that they were complaining about, even after they've bargained it down a bit. But then they'll turn around and say, look, I got a good ass deal. It's a bargaining technique. Nothing is good enough when in a negotiation, or in bargaining. Let me say that. They say it's $20. No, 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 that's way too much. That's way too much. All right, $18. Oh, damn, bro. Other person said it was 16. I'm gonna bring it down to 15. Final offer, dude. You're pretty much ripping me off at this point. Come on, that's not good. 15. I'm not going any lower. All right, I'll take it. Then you're gonna go home and say, look, I got this for $15. This is $20. I was able to bring it down all the way to 15. The same 15 you were saying is bad, is not good. Now you're boasting about it. Verse 15, there is gold and a multitude of rubies, but the lips of knowledge are a precious jewel. So yeah, you have gold, which is precious. You have rubies, which is precious. But above that are the lips of knowledge, right? Because that's also likened unto a precious jewel. And the lips of knowledge is not, there's not like these giant lips that are floating in in some remote location in Arizona, right? That are called the lips of knowledge. The lips of knowledge are the words, okay, that speak knowledge. A mind, a person that speaks forth knowledge, that is precious. It's like a precious jewel. Verse 16, take his garment that is surety for a stranger, and take a pledge of him for a strange woman. And what that means is, if someone guarantees a stranger's debt, right, if they are surety for a stranger, you got to require collateral from them, right? Take that garment, take something, okay? And if he makes reckless commitments, right, he's being a pledge or he's being a surety for a strange woman, you got to protect yourself, right? So you take something of theirs as security for you in the case that they are not able to actually be, that surety. You have something that can protect you. Verse 17, bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth shall be filled with gravel. Gravel is like stones. So bread of deceit, which is gotten, in a ill manner or ill form, it tastes sweet in the moment. When you eating of that wickedness, it tastes sweet in the moment, but the consequences afterwards is going to be like you were chewing on stones. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. So as verse 18 is saying, before you do anything, seek counsel, right? Anything like major worth seeking counsel. And as it says, with good advice make war, because making war is a big deal. So you want to make sure that you have a sound advice and backing and reasoning to doing it. He that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets, right? You going around slandering, gossiping, you reveal secrets, right? Therefore meddle not with him that flattereth with his lips, because 1 second you guys are talking, and you they're saying sweet things to you, and you give up certain information that you probably shouldn't, and before you know it, he's going about telling the whole city. Verse 20, Slakia. Yeah. Verse 20, whoso curseth his father or his mother, his lamp shall be put out in obscure darkness. Okay, and that dishonoring your parents, ultimately, right, cursing your father or mother, dishonoring your parents leads to ruin, right? That's your lamp being put out. And that could be in the form of many various ways that the Lord decides to judge you, but it won't be good. Verse 21, an inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed. It says here in the NLT, an inheritance gained too early in life is not a blessing in the end. See, so if you gain wealth, too quickly, it might not bring lasting goodness, right? If you don't handle it properly, or gain it at the right time. See, people always say, "Oh, I want to get rich. I want money, or I want this, I want that," but they neglect to consider timing. Okay, timing plays a crucial role in that as well. If you get it at the wrong time, you might waste it. You might not use it right. So sometimes the Lord will hold certain things from you until you are in a position you've learned enough, you have experience to be able to manage it properly. Say not thou, I will recompense evil, but wait on the Lord, and he will save thee. That's like seeking, revenge carnally. Somebody did something to you, oh, I'm gonna get him back, or I can't wait to get. Let the Lord handle it, right? And he will save thee. He'll do it to where you'll be guiltless, but yet you'll be satisfied with the recompense upon whoever it is that's troubling you. Verse 23, diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good, right? Once again, going into the diverse weights and the false balance, which are used to scam people, right? Instead of actual, 2 pounds worth of weight, you may have 3 pounds labeled as 2. And that's used to cheat people when you weigh out whatever it is that they're buying from you. And the Lord does not like that. It's an abomination to him. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? See, so your goings, the things you end up doing, where you end up going, what you end up, coming to is really determined by the Lord. So as it says, how can a man then understand his own way? Sometimes you end up somewhere meeting someone in a certain situation that you never planned on. That's because the Lord set it up. It is a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy, and after vows to make inquiry. It says, don't trap yourself by making a rash promise to God, and only later counting the cost, right? Or NKJV, it is a snare for a man to devote rashly something as holy, and afterward to reconsider his vows. There are no, I made a mistake, let me take that back. No, go and read the law on that. In verse 26, a wise king scattereth the wicked, and bringeth the wheel over them. It says here, a wise king scatters the wicked like wheat, then runs his threshing wheel over them. The wicked here are likened onto crops in a harvest, that you scatter them onto the threshing floor, and then you thresh them with your threshing wheel or sled, which is just a metaphor or symbolic speak of judging them. The spirit of man is the candle of the Lord, searching all the inward parts of the belly. It says the Lord's light penetrates the human spirit, exposing every hidden motive. Or NKJV, the spirit of a man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all the inner depths of the heart. So your spirit can tell the truth about you, and the Lord can read your spirit. So it's likened onto a candle that he has within you that searches out everything, your intentions, your thoughts, all of that. So nothing is really hid before the Lord. Mercy and truth preserve the king, and his throne is upholden by mercy. So a king that's merciful and honest and truthful will be preserved, and his throne will be maintained by his mercy. Because if he was to ever transgress, the Lord will show him mercy, like David. The glory of young men is their strength. So young men are glorified by their strength, right, through their youth. And the beauty of old men is the gray hair. So that's what, the elders are revered by that, right, by their gray hair, because it's a sign of experience. The blueness of a wound cleanseth away evil, so do stripes the inward parts of the belly. It says physical punishment because blueness of a wound is a bruise. And it says it cleanseth away evil. So that's why it says physical punishment cleanses away evil because of the pain that it brings. So you have somebody that does something wrong, they get beat. They remember that pain and they'll associate it with the wrongdoing. And if they're wise, they'll say, well, I don't want to experience that kind of pain anymore. I'm not going to do that thing again. It says here, so such discipline purifies the heart, right? So do stripes the inward parts of the belly or the mind. Because you'll learn, what was it? Damn, I forgot the saying, but it was something along the lines of when words won't teach, adversity will, something like that. The elder Apostle Gabar mentioned it at one point. I forgot how exactly he worded it, but long story short, that pain is gonna fix up that mind and correct it very quickly. And that brings us to the end of the book of Proverbs, the 20th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Racha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.